So there are many criminal activities you can pull off in Red Dead Redemption 2. Some of them might be more rewarding money-wise, while others will just get you in trouble with the law. Today we'll take a detailed look at all of the existing info available on robberies and heists in Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as the consequences that these actions will entail. For the sake of making this video easier to follow, I will split it in two sections, one dealing with robberies and the other one with heists. And I will begin the video with robberies, as there is also some brand new information being revealed in a very recent gameplay news article. So robbing people in Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the more spontaneous crimes you can commit, and it's as straightforward as it can get. It's done entirely with the use of the newly added social interaction mechanic, and you'll need to have your weapon unholstered in order to pull it off. So with your weapon in your hand, simply approach the nearest NPC, hold down the L2 button on your controller to bring up the social interaction menu, and then press the appropriate contextual button, in this case to rob. Much like how it is in real life, you can pretty much rob anyone you'd please, from random passerbys you happen to meet on a lone road to an entire wagon of people and even convenience stores. While the profits you can make out on these random robberies have not yet been fully disclosed, we know that the more dishonorable and outlawish you are, the more the payouts from these activities will be. Now the thing that sets Red Dead Redemption 2 apart from other games is that there are a lot more variables thrown in the mix here for just this simple action, and that comes in the form of human interaction. While it's easy to pull up a gun on someone and force them to cough up some cash, the way they might respond to that is a whole different matter in itself. According to a new preview posted yesterday, robberies themselves are as varied as the inhabitants of the world. Some victims of your nefarious intentions will simply flee, others might retreat a fair distance and keep a keen eye on you in the chance they can hop onto their horse and put the spurs to it. Still, others will meet your hostility in kind, resulting in a frenzy of bullets or quick de-escalation of raging dueling bravados. While each NPC has their own moods and behaviors, your interactions with them can become quite unpredictable. Luckily enough, the game doesn't just throw a wrench in your plan for the sake of making things hard, and in turn you can respond in kind. In the previous game, your options were pretty much limited to either killing your victims or letting them run. Now it's a little bit more complex, and you can also fire warning shots should they choose to disobey your orders. You can also intimidate them by various means. This is just one of them that proves to be very effective. Additionally, it would also be wise to bring one of your gang members with you, or maybe even multiple, if you truly wish to intimidate even the toughest target. That way you can eliminate any chance for an NPC to start acting up, as by now the room of escape would have pretty much been closed. From here on, the possibilities branch out even more, and you, the player, have multiple options to pick from. Do you simply leave them be, risking them to alert the law? Do you threaten them in the hopes they'll keep their mouths shut? Or do you simply kill all of the witnesses to not leave any loose ends? These are the sorts of options you can have in the game, and having your face covered will also play a huge role on how easy these people will be able to identify you later on. A final point I want to make regarding robberies is that the payout will also vastly depend on where and who you rob. While the poor folks in the countryside might not be able to give up too much, there are richer cities in the game you can take your villainous actions to, such as for example Saint Denis. It's been reported that the city itself is brimming with rich people that you can steal from and even burglarize their houses. Similarly, burglaries would also be more lucrative here, as it's been reported that there are quite a lot of rich houses to break into. Of course, the presence of law enforcement will also be higher, but this is proportionate with the reward. And this covers all of the information we have currently available on robberies. Heists, on the other hand, are a whole different ballgame, and they require an entire team to set up. Luckily enough, you are part of a group of almost 24 outlaws that are more than capable to pull it off. For the most part, expect large-scale heists to be specialized missions that can be done through various points throughout the in-game storyline, rather than spontaneous activities that can be done at any given time. So far, we've had a few heists being given as examples, one of them happening on a train belonging to a wealthy business owner, and the other two being just regular bank heists. The first one, which is the train heist, was shown in early previews from last month, but we also have footage of it in the second gameplay trailer. It's just hard to pinpoint unless you know the story behind it. It begins simply enough as the gang gang has set eyes on a train that holds a lot of cash. It belongs, as I've said, to a wealthy business owner, so the plan here is to simply detonate the tracks and steal the money from the resulting crash. But when the plan proves to be unsuccessful, Arthur and his fellow mates will have to jump on the train themselves and also deal with the guards and a few dozen remaining witnesses. And there are a lot of options that will be given to you during these, not just through this particular heist but to others as well, and there are definitely a lot of possibilities that can result as a matter of fact. Later on into the story, the gang sets their eyes on the Valentine Bank, where resistance was said to be on the low side, and Arthur is of course also brought in on it to act as an enforcer. And without spoiling too much here, each gang member was given a role. One of them was to cause distractions while the rest would take people hostage. Each situation is said to give players different options, and you can choose to take the bank manager, for example, hostage to open up the vault for you, or just blow it up yourself. Inside the vault there are boxes which again either need to be cracked or blown up, and these are sorts of decisions you need to pick and act upon fast, as the law enforcement will most of the time be very close by to like take you down. And depending on how you do it, this will also affect how much you can steal, how the heist itself might end up to be, and how many of the law enforcement you have to deal with later on, because you also have to take into account that the police will eventually move on to you and will be alerted by any sound you make. Finally, we have the most recent gameplay video number 2 showing up the Lemoyne Central Bank heist that's probably set up in Saint Denis. Much like how the previous one was described, it involves taking down guards, holding down people hostage, and blowing up vaults. Compared to the regular robberies and even burglaries, heists will continue to be a very good source of income in a similar fashion to how it is in GTA 5. It's not certain yet how many of these large-scale heists exist throughout the game, but what is certain is that on top of the 3 that I've just described, there is also one available by pre-ordering the special edition of the game. And according to the pre-order bonus, the bank robbery mission reads: get exclusive access to a bank robbery mission in which Arthur and a couple of his fellow gang members come up with a daring plan to break in and rob the bank in the southern town of Rhodes. And since we're still on this subject, I'm also expecting for heists to be a major source of income in Red Dead Online, not just in the story mode. When Red Dead Online Open Beta was announced last month, Rockstar Games have mentioned they want to bring in more heists in the multiplayer, as it's one of the types of content that helped shaping up GTA Online as well. And yeah, among all of the other activities you can do in Red Dead Redemption 2, probably heists will be the most rewarding ones, but unfortunately so far the information is kind of sparse. This is everything that has been reported thus far throughout various trailers, gameplay videos, as well as previews. And yeah, this pretty much covers today's video. We have less than 2 weeks until Red Dead Redemption 2 goes live, and honestly I cannot wait to play it because it definitely sounds interesting. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, a like and a subscribe would be super appreciated. Also, don't forget about the notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.